Hello, DJ Vanna Vertigo here, aka Scott Elliott. Um, just a real quick video before I go to bed. I've been wanting to do this just on George Borden's channel. He has the best conversations, I tell you. It was really cool. Um, but before I go to bed, I just want to tell you I've been listening to a couple things today. Um, I just wanted to share this with you. Checked out Orgone. It's kind of a funk jam band, funk soul band. Listen to side two to their Lost Nights record. This is a Three Palms record. They used to be with Coal Mine. I think they were affiliated with Coal Mine for a while. But really good stuff. Some instrumental, some vocals, and very 70s sounding. And I listened to side two that had Crusader, Stand By Your Brother, Wicked Karma, and Hazel. The song Hazel's great. Crusader's funky, funky, funky. Stand By Your Brother's really hot. It's really good stuff. All four tracks on the second side, just amazing. I listened to the first side a while ago and I really enjoyed it, but I didn't get a chance to listen to the second. So now I've heard the whole album. This is some smoking record called, what's it called? Just Lost Nights by Orgone. Lost Nights. I started listening to this record by a group called, oh gosh, I can't stand when they don't say their names right off the bat. It's a band called Good Morning, and this record's called Seven. They opened for Waxahachie a couple months ago at Janice Live here in St. Petersburg. And I listened to the first side that has Arcade, Isn't This Ideal, Monster of the Week, and As Dogs Were Playing. And then the second side, I listened to Worm Turns, Dog Years, Queens of Comedy, The Lake, and Diane Said. Really cool, kind of pastoral, Americana rock, kind of, sort of. I want to give this another listen before I really give my final decision as to how much I like this record. I'm not really crazy about the cover. I think they're trying to be artistic, but it's just not working for me. It's kind of bland. But it's a double record, and I'll check it out some more. This is again, they're from Brooklyn, I believe, and this is called again, Good Morning. The band is called Good Morning, and the record's called Seven. It's their latest, and they were really good. They opened for Waxahachie. Now, the reason why I decided to do this video is because I wanted to talk about this record that I had not listened to. I bought it, I never opened it, it was sealed, and I just cracked it today. Had it in my collection for a while, and I was curious. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. It's Van Morrison, and usually I don't doubt Van Morrison, but this one is called What's It Gonna Take? This was done during the pandemic. It was one of two records that were done during the pandemic. And there's two problems that I have with this record. I have a problem with the record itself, but I also have a problem with the critics of this record. I read a lot of critiques on this record while I was listening to the record, which is kind of a weird, surreal thing. It's not a bad record. I think the songs could have been better. I think the lyrics are pretty mundane and pedestrian. There's nothing really spiritual about this record in terms of the lyrics. Usually, that's the direction that Van Morrison tends to go into. He gets very social, or he gets very, very, very continental, where he's really proud of where he comes from, or he's very spiritual. He's taking it to another level. He's coming outside of his head and going into his soul and bringing the spirits in. And I get none of that from him on this record. This record is just him spewing anger and being sarcastic and just bitchy. It's just a bitchy record. And so it it's not enjoyable. So it's not a bad record because the musicianship on here is really good. I don't think he sings particularly bad on it, but I don't think he sings particularly interesting or well. I don't think the what you expect from Van Morrison is that improvisational, um, you know, stream of consciousness kind of thing. There's no stream of consciousness on this record. This record's called "What's It Gonna Take," and I said, "What's it gonna take for Van Morrison to get better again?" That's how I feel about this. It's, again, I'm not going to throw it away. I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm a completionist when it comes to him, so I'll hold on to it. But it's definitely not something that's going to be spun a lot in my collection. Now, my other problem with this record, because that's all I'm going to say about that. I mean, I just don't think it's that great. It's okay. And I don't usually say that about Van Morrison records. Um, the other problem I have with this record has nothing to do with the record itself. It has to do with it has nothing to do with the artist. It has something to do with the critics out there critiquing this record. Some of the critics, very few of them, really love this record and they're touting it. Most of the critics that I've heard really, truly hated this record and really just tore it to shreds. However, not one of the critics had the intelligence or the background or even the energy or to do any research on the production of the record itself, the packaging. None of them, some didn't even mention the cover. Others that did mention the cover had not a clue of the reference. Now, if you look at this, look at it very carefully. If you're over 40, anybody over 45 maybe 50, and maybe the reviewers were all under 50, who knows? But still, if you're in the journalism world, you need to do your damn research. This picture is an illustration. That's Kevin McCarthy, and that's Dana Andrews, I think her name was. This is from the movie, the 50s sci-fi movie called the original Invaders of the Body Snatchers. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, that's what it's called. 50s, really frightening, paranoia type science fiction film about a town that was taken over by these alien pods that were being spread all over town. And when the pods develop, they take over your body and your soul. Okay, and that you have no feelings. There's no such thing as love anymore. And they said because we would no longer have war, because you wouldn't have any emotions, no feelings, nobody would care about anything or anyone. You would just exist. And that's what the scary part of this movie was, because people were turning into these pod people. That's what they were. They were running away. They were the last two people in town. And of course, she does not survive. She becomes a pod person and he gets away. And that's how the film ends. But that's who that is. People were saying these are dancers that are being taken care of by a puppeteer. These are, I don't know what else they were saying. But that's totally a reference of that. It's obvious what that is. And it just kills me. Music critics today, they suck. I mean, I never really was that fond of music critics, but some of them were actually really good. Some in Rolling Stone in the past, and also in the Village Voice in New York City. Chris DeGo. There were certain people that really, at one time, they really were good. Parameters of what good music was or what was decent that was coming out. There's nobody out there now that I can see that even has a clue of what they're doing. And, when I'm embarking on being this person that's going to start reviewing records for Daddy Cool Records, I felt like, oh, that's a really cool thing to be doing. I feel almost kind of embarrassed now because I feel like this is definitely something that people shouldn't pay attention to, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to still try to be that good reviewer and be honest and do my research, do my due diligence, and really listen to the record and really look at the packaging and really find out who's on the records and all that kind of stuff to really give you a good basis for whether or not I like the record and everything I know about it. But how could any of these reviewers, not one of them could reference this? Not one. And I'm not even a professional reviewer, as far as I'm concerned. But I picked it up immediately. Immediately. Hello? Anyway, that's my rant. But again, I'm not taking much stock in this record. I don't really recommend it. I'm not saying don't buy it. You know, if you're a Van Morrison fan, you probably might dig this. I don't know. I'm not into it. But again, I'm keeping it because it's Van Morrison and it's in my collection. So that's my review of that. But my real review is the review of the reviewers on this. I just thought, what a farce these guys are. What a farce. I hope I do better than they do in the future with reviewing records. So that's my rant. Anyway, keep listening to great music, and I'll see you soon.